Welcome, friends, to an extra special episode of A VGM Journey, and I'm your host, The Messenger. Today we are focusing on Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics, and it was composed by Chami, Ishi, and Toshiki, Aida. And if you guys were wondering what the track was that we were playing into today's show, that was the menu theme from Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. We're going to take a bit of a more relaxed approach to the show and just play some awesome tunes. I want to start things off with the theme to Mancala, Dots and Boxes, Hex, and Renegade. That track that you just heard, that was Mancala, Dots and Boxes, Hex, and Renegade. This is the track that I've listened to the most because all four of these games I've played quite a bit, especially Mancala. I had Chris Murray watch me play a couple rounds of Mancala just a couple weeks ago on Twitch, and I was just getting my butt kicked by this guy named Kyle. And it's a neat little game. You move stones around and you try to collect them in your pocket, and it's a little weird to explain, but it is super simple to get into. And Renegade was a very nice new discovery for myself, so I wasn't familiar with it at all, and it was another super simple game to learn, and I was pretty hooked on it. This next track, I think it's a pretty good one. It's Hittin' Below, Chinese Checkers, Hare and Hounds, and Checkers. That track that you just heard, that was Hit and Blow, Chinese Checkers, Hare and Hounds, and Checkers. I'm pretty sure that everyone has played checkers at least once in their life. But these three other games, I was just not really all that familiar with. And Hare and Hounds, it's a pretty interesting strategy game of sorts. One person controls these three different dogs, and they try to capture the other player, who happens to be the hare. Hit and Blow was something I really did not get into all that much. And Chinese Checkers, well, it's Chinese Checkers. This next track is a pretty fun one. It's air hockey and slot cars. That track that you just heard, that was air hockey and slot cars. Slot cars was actually pretty surprising. I didn't think I was going to like it all that much, but it turned out to be a pretty solid game to play on Clubhouse games. It's far from the best, but it's definitely far from the worst. But I will say that air hockey, it's a little disappointing. I just don't think it controls all that great. If you're using the Joy-Cons, it just doesn't feel right. So you just move it around and then you hit one of the buttons to, smack the puck. And if you use the touch screen, I just don't think it registers your movement the best, and that your finger kind of gets in the way. So surprisingly, air hockey is probably one of my least favorites in Clubhouse game. This next track is possibly one of my favorites in the game. It is 4 in a row and sliding puzzle. That pretty awesome track. That was 4 in a row and Sliding Puzzle. Sliding Puzzle was okay. And what's really cool about that is you have to slide the pieces from spot to spot while this turtle is moving, and you gotta create a path for him. Even though he does move slowly, you're still kind of under pressure and up against the clock. And 4 in a row, it's Connect 4. Like, it looks just like Connect 4. All the pieces look like Connect 4. They're just not calling it Connect 4. It's 4 in a row. And that guitar, it is so awesome. Definitely one of the highlights of the Clubhouse games soundtrack. This next track's kind of a fun one. It's Matching. And yes, it's just like matching cards. That mysterious fun track, that was Matching. And the game itself is, well, like I said, you're just finding and matching cards. And one of the cool things about matching on Clubhouse games is that it is one of the card games where you could switch from the normal cards to Mario-themed cards. So it's always cool to try to find Donkey Kong or Rosalina or Wario and Waluigi. Always a good time. But with this next track, if you're looking for something to gamble, then this next track is for you. It is Blackjack and Texas Hold'em. that track that you just listened to, that was Blackjack and Texas Hold'em. Blackjack's not too bad. I mean, you just try to get as close to 21 as you can without going over, and you're also up against the dealer and not necessarily the other players. But I will address that some of the games on Clubhouse games, it's not really that great for multiplayer. And I mean multiplayer on a single system. You can't play Texas Hold'em on one system. It's pretty much game breaking. I mean, I guess you guys could cheat at it, but it's not a feature. So that is a heads up if you are interested in the game, that some of the games are just not single system multiplayer friendly. And Texas Hold'em is one of them. This next track I was very surprised with, and that is Dominoes. That awesome track that you just heard, that was Dominoes. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you could think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. And if you want to email the show, you can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com. And also check us out on Twitter at VGMJourney. We're going to play out with one more track, and what better way to end a focus on a game than by playing the credits for Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics. And that entire soundtrack was composed by Chami, Ishi, and Toshiki, Aida. Have a good week, everyone.
Hare.